All right, folks, Ohio's August special election is upon us, an election with just one issue on the ballot. Simply put, issue one. If it passes, it would make it more difficult to change aspects of the state's constitution. That has led to millions of dollars worth of campaigning from both sides of the issue. You've seen it here on News 5. Already, we've seen more than 500,000 votes cast across the state between absentee and early voting. News 5's Clay Lepard reminds voters what's at stake.
Not long ago, the Ohio legislature did away with summer special elections, only to bring them back, this time with an issue that could impact the way Ohioans vote from here on out. This ballot measure comes as Ohio voters will decide in November if they can have a constitutional right to have an abortion, contraception, miscarriage care, and fertility treatment. If issue one passes, it would take effect immediately and raise the threshold for any constitutional amendment going forward to pass from a simple majority, or about 50% of the vote, to 60% instead. Issue one would also require citizen-initiated constitutional amendment campaigns to collect signatures from each of the state's 88 counties. Right now, the requirement is only 44 counties. It would also eliminate the 10-day window for campaigns to gather additional signatures for citizen-initiated constitutional amendments if the campaign didn't have enough signatures. We've already seen a much higher turnout than expected for this special election, which has experts on both sides interpreting its likely outcome a little differently.
This has been really a unifying cry to make sure that ballot initiatives do not become impossible for citizen groups.
One of the things that I'm learning is the voters are confused. And so I honestly don't know how issue one's going to turn out.
Polls will remain open throughout the state until 7:30 tonight. In Cleveland, Clay Lepard, News 5.
All right, so you heard it right there. People are confused. So we're going to recap here. If issue one passes, it will change Ohio's political landscape, making it harder to pass constitutional amendments. So what we wanted to do is take a look at some of the amendments to the state constitution that would not have passed the 60% threshold at the time that they were voted upon. If that was in place, Ohio's governor would not have term limits. The minimum wage would not have gone up. Only white men would be able to vote. And Ohioans would only have the option of straight ticket voting at the polls. Since 1913, Ohio has passed 127 constitutional amendments, but 49 of those receive less than 60% of votes. And we have heard of a few issues at a couple of polling places today. Here's the deal. The Wi-Fi went down this morning at the Pilgrim Church in Tremont this morning. That meant that they could not connect the ballot scanners, and about a dozen voters had to use provisional ballots. Thankfully, the Wi-Fi is back up and running at this point. Also, they had some issues with scanners at the church in the Falls in Cuyahoga Falls. Some got jammed, one simply wasn't working. Voters will basically tell us they were given the option to have their ballot voided and come back before the polls close, or put their ballot into a special orange box to be counted later.
There's a lot of people here, and they're very concerned that their votes might not be counted.
They're trying to assure us that the orange box is secure and they would do all that. Personally, I don't trust that.
So here's the thing. One poll worker we spoke to says she will personally make sure those ballots are counted. This is only the second time new voting machines are being used in Summit County. Tens of thousands of those poll workers are keeping things running at more than 3,000 polling locations across the state of Ohio today. The Secretary of State's office had been keeping a weekly tally on how many volunteers each county had.
As a result, we saw that some boards were where they needed to be about a week ago, some were not. And so we were able to rush resources to those boards that needed to do some last minute recruitment.
LaRose says every polling location opened on time and fully staffed this morning. News 5, of course, has been following through on this August special election for months now. We will be bringing you the latest throughout the day, both on air and on news5cleveland.com.